Welcome back, everybody, to your Feel Good Breakfast.
Happy New Year, baby!
Yeah, we are still with you. We're back on your screens until 9 this morning. Now, we are back with our conversation on Baby Talk. We're taking it one step at a time, and we've gotten through the festive season, and we're on our way back to our new normal work-life, school routine. This is it, back to reality, everybody, and we are still catching up with parent coach Laura Markovitz about the first steps to preschool during COVID-19. Thank you so much for staying with us this morning, Laura.
Thanks. Good to still be here.
So I've experienced this firsthand with my 3-year-old. He's posed some real conundrums for me. How should we be responding to our toddlers' questions about COVID-19, especially when it comes to dealing with death, has actually come up for me? What's the right way to tackle something like that?
So I think the first answer to that is respond. And that's really important, is that when they're asking questions, that we're responding to those questions. And that might seem obvious, but actually when we're in those moments and we're thinking like, this is an awkward one, I don't want to go there, our reactions translate into something for our kids. Oh, that's something I'm not allowed to talk about, or that's something I need to be fearful of, or that's something we need to squash down and made dad uncomfortable. So the first part is respond to it. And then to keep it simple, I think we might go into panic mode and think, okay, I've got to tell them everything there is to know about COVID, about death. Keep it simple. It's absolutely normal and natural for them to be asking these questions. So keep it simple. Ask them what they are thinking. Ask them what they have heard. I always say, go in curious before we think, okay, I've got to tell them everything there is to know, or I want to avoid telling them everything there is to know. Ask them what they know. Ask them what they're thinking. Ask them what they do want to know. And then respond to those things. So where it's things like they might have heard something about death around, or they might have come home from school here talking about death, ask them what they heard from their friends, and then go there. And the truth is, death is around them. Now we think it's around them so much because of COVID, but actually it's always been around. The butterfly that's died on the ants that got squashed on the pavement, or whatever it is. So go there and talk to them about it. Things like, what are they worrying about? And usually it's about worrying about the people that are close to them. So we can reassure them that we will do the best we can to take care of ourselves, and we will do the best we can to take care of each other and stay as healthy as we can. And that's the only thing we can guarantee for them, that we will try the best to do what we can do, and to reassure them around those sorts of things. The conversation changes a little bit if they've actually experienced death around them and someone close has been affected. Of course, then we've got to be speaking about that person. And again, it's about not squashing it and not thinking, well, out of sight, out of mind, I don't need to talk about it. A lot goes on, as you know. I mean, Graham, you're alluding to it. A lot goes on in their little minds all the time. So rather be talking about it. Look at photographs of the person who may have died. Remember to use words that are simple and clear. Be careful of euphemisms. So not things like, well, she's just sleeping, or she passed away. We think we're protecting them when we say those words, but what we're really doing is it's quite a confusing concept for such a little person. Well, I also go to sleep every night. So does that mean I died, or what makes sense? So rather use words like death and died, so that things are clearer, rather than leaving it up to their little minds to get more confused about things.
Because they're still feeling the same level of emotion as that we as adults are feeling. They just don't have the context, the words to be able to contextualize it.
Laura, all about being honest, but then something that's also still with us is the social distancing. As you can see, myself and G still doing it, but for the kids that must be quite difficult. What are some of the ways that they can social distance at preschool when kids at that age are not able to grasp the importance of social distancing?
So, I mean, it's such a hard one. We're finding it hard.
Yeah.
And so to do that with little kids, it's just so counterintuitive. And that's going to happen at schools, and schools will have to manage that, and schools will be communicating to them about how to manage it. But I think our role is very much then to hold the school in mind, and then equip our kids with what they can do. So, the elbow greetings, reminding them of who they can hug and hold, and then also making space for what is difficult. It's very hard that you can't run up to Joe on the field and give him a high five. That stuff's hard. And remembering that they can be impulsive. So being gentle and kind on them, because often our fears and our panic, we then get very cross with them. Well, why did you go and do that? Or so just to remember they are kids, they're learning, they're adaptable, they will learn these rules. They are so foreign for all of us. But remember, they're little, and this is the world that they're coming into. So remember, they can adapt, and they are learning all the time. I mean, we're seeing it with the masks, we're seeing it with the sanitizer. They're learning all the time.
We've got a ton of other questions that we would have loved to have gotten through, Ben. I'm going to suggest people go to you online at Laura H. Markovitz or coachparents.co.za to connect with you directly and ask any of those questions and speak to each other. We're all going through this as parents, and trust me, having dealt with 2 different creches now, they are amazing. These teachers and the schools have really had to wrap their heads around this. So trust that your child is going into a really safe place as well. Don't let your anxieties get the better of you, and talk to each other as if you're co-parenting in that space, and talk to your little ones. Laura, thank you so much, and have a fantastic new year. Good luck with sticking to your New Year's resolutions.
Yes, thanks. I'll need it. Thank you. You too.